Hey guys, this is Amir from Lia. Welcome to this session on the Lia UI bot tutorial. Today in this session we are going to teach you how to develop a bot for mass mailing with customized messages for each customer to help the marketing department. This could be used in various scenarios such as the promotion of new products, sending congratulatory messages for different occasions, and so on. All these tasks are repetitive and rule-based, which make them a perfect fit for automation. So without wasting any time, let's move on to the agenda to see what I will be covering in today's session. So we'll start today's session by first explaining how an operator or human would do this task. After that, we'll be doing a hands-on wherein we are going to use the Lia UI bot, RPA tool to develop our mass mailing bot. In the end, we will show how our designed bot performs this task swiftly and without any error. Let's start on with our first topic of today's session, which is how a human would do this task. Assuming a human performs this task manually, the steps would be as follows. First, the operator needs to open the mailing application. After that, opens the Excel file and then check the content. After that, the operator needs to compose a new email and then copy the recipient address into the To section of the mailing app. Subject and message are next to be copied and pasted into the email. Finally, the operator needs to click on the Send button to send the email. After that, the same procedure must be repeated for all the customers on the list. In the end, the operator must close the Excel file and this would be the end of this process. The bot we are going to develop mimics this process and performs it as a human does. To get started with the implementation of this automation task, let's open the Creator, which is the design, development, and testing environment of the RPA bots. Then click on New, select the process as the project type, and then modify the project name and directory as you want, and finally, click on Confirm. Welcome to Lia UI bot. Once the project is initiated, you'll see the flowchart of the automation process, which contains these two items by default. To get started with it, click on the edit on the top right corner of the block, and you'll be redirected to the visual view of the Creator. As we analyzed before, the first step would be double-clicking on the icon of the mailing app on our desktop and opening it. To do this, we click on the mouse and keyboard drop-down menu, then click on Mouse, then drag and drop the Click on Target to the visual view. After that, we need to click on the Target Explorer, and we will be redirected to the desktop, where you can click on your mailing app icon. Finally, make sure you've changed the type of click to double-click on the property bar on your right. The next step is to open the Excel file. To do this, we click on the Software Automation drop-down menu, then click on Excel, then drag and drop the Open Excel to the visual view. After that, we click on the Select File, right in front of the file path on your right, select the Excel file and click on the Open. Make sure to set the Visible or Not property as No. This makes the file to be opened in the background. Finally, we will modify the output to that sets the desired variable name to store the content of the Excel file in it. I set its name as my mail list. The next step is to check the number of customers on the list. This process consists of two sub-processes, checking the number of rows that indicate the number of customers, and storing this value for future references. To store the number of customers we need to create a variable. To create a variable, we click on the Basic Command drop-down menu, then click on Syntax and Lexical, then drag and drop the Variable Assignment to the visual view. Now we can modify the variable name which I set it as clients, and we can leave the variable initial value as is by default. After that, we should read the number of rows from the Excel file. To do this, we click on the Software Automation drop-down menu, then click on the Excel, then drag and drop the Get Row Count to the visual view. The output to value must be set to clients, which is the variable names we created for this, and the workbook object must be set to the variable name we stored the Excel file content in it, which is my mail list. At this point, we need to automate the repetitive task, that is reading information from an Excel file, and writing customized messages related to 200 clients one by one. We can do this by using an iterative loop. To do this, we click on the Basic Commands drop-down menu, then click on Syntax and Lexical, then drag and drop the Counter loop to the visual view. After that, we need to set the ending value to clients, the same as the variable name we created to get the rows count, and set the starting value to 2. This is the time we get started with our repetitive processes. The very first step is to create a new message for each client. We can do this by using a Click on Target process. To do this, we click on the mouse and keyboard drop-down menu, then click on Mouse, then drag and drop the Click click on Target inside the counter loop. After that, we need to click on the Target Explorer, then click on New Message in the mailing app. Now we need to read the customer's email address and write it in our email. This process includes generating the cell ID, create a variable to store the cell value, reading the cell value, and writing it in our mail. To generate the cell ID, we need to create a variable by clicking on the Basic Command drop-down menu, then clicking on Syntax and Lexical, then dragging and dropping the variable assignment inside the counter loop. After that, we need to set the variable name to recipient cell, and the variable value to A and I. This is because the cell ID changes on each iteration, for example, A2, A3, and so on. Then we need to create another variable to store the recipient cell value for each customer. We will do the same as we did in the previous step, and we name it recipient, and we leave the variable value as is by default. Now we are ready to read the cell value. To do this, click on the System Automation drop-down menu, then click on Excel, then drag and drop the read cell inside the counter loop. After that, set the output to as recipient, set the workbook object to my mail list, and finally the cell value to recipient cell. Now that we have all the information we wanted, we need to write this into the email form. To do this, click on the Mouse and Keyboard drop-down menu, then click on Keyboard, then drag and drop the Click on Target inside the counter loop. After that, we set the Text to Write property to recipient, and then we should click on the Target Explorer, and then click on the To field of our email. The same processes, with the same orders will be used for the subject and the message field, with a few differences in their properties. We will set the variable names for cell ID related to the subject and the message to B and I and C and I respectively. Now we are ready to send the email by clicking on the Send button. To do this, we click on the Mouse and Keyboard drop-down menu, then click on Mouse, then drag and drop the Click on Target inside the counter loop. After that, we need to click on the Target Explorer, then click on Send in the mailing app. Last step is to close the Excel file. To do this, we click on the System Automation drop-down menu, then click on Excel, then drag and drop the Close Excel into the visual view. Don't forget to change the workbook object to my mail list. Finally, we can test the bot we designed and developed so far by clicking on the Run button, and enjoy the miracle of automation with Lia UI Bot, free RPA tools. Once we run the process, we can see that the bot writes each email swiftly and without any error. However, for a human, this is a repetitive and boring task which also takes a lot of effort to perform. We must also keep in mind that the mailing list for the big companies would not be limited to 200. The ROI of the RPA is significantly high as this bot could be used for an unlimited number of scenarios, times, and situations. That's all so far for today's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries, and we will get back to you soon. Do look out for more videos on our playlist and subscribe to our LIA channel to learn more. Goodbye and see you in the next session.